So last time on Dragon Ball Super GR, Gohan finally faced off with his uncle Raditz after over 20 years since his childhood kidnapping. After a dramatic confrontation, Gohan eventually forgave the once evil Saiyan, and the family of Goku was now again at peace. That was at least until Goten asked Bardock for a playful spar, which ended up leaving the poor Saiyan in complete shock as he saw his own grandson transform into the once legendary Super Saiyan. And in today's manga, we'll see exactly what happens when Bardock tries to keep up. But before we begin, support this video and channel by leaving a like right now as you're reading this and watching this video till the very end for its unexpected conclusion. Enjoy. So our story continues after Bardock has just accepted his grandson Goten's offer to a sparring session, only to learn how utterly outmatched he was, and on top of that, the shocking reveal that his young grandson was also a Super Saiyan already, leaving Bardock muttering, "Am I seeing this right? That yellow hair, the green eyes, and this insane power! Even my grandson is a Super Saiyan before me! What has Kakarot been feeding these kids?" Meanwhile, the power of Goten is on full display as his aura continues to flux, and his blonde hair and emerald green eyes stare directly into the face of grandfather Bardock. He says with a smile, "Come on, Grandpa, what's the hold up? Go super already." Meanwhile, Bardock's face continues to turn to shame as he reflects on his past, commenting, This is just not acceptable! How embarrassing! I'm the head of the household, for God's sake! I was one of the strongest in the old Saiyan army! A combat leader! I was almost an elite! Countless foes defeated! Countless planets conquered! And now, I'm reduced to fearing the power of a toddler? With his embarrassment compounding, Bardock facepalms and continues, I could only imagine if Fasha or Shugesh could see me like this. They'd have a field day. They would never let me hear the end of it. Safe to say, those two aren't getting revived now. With himself now composed again, Bardock gets serious once again and inquires, Listen, brat! Listen, Goten! Clearly becoming the legendary Super Saiyan is not as rare or difficult as we once thought back on planet Vegeta. For God's sake, you're living proof of it! A child whose voice hasn't even dropped yet, somehow making a mockery of the Saiyans of legend. Just tell me, how do I do this too, so I can at least keep up with the rest of you? It was bad enough being surpassed so greatly by Kakarot, but the same cannot be true with you. Goten, however, looks back with a puzzled face as he just replies, Huh? Grandpa? You can't turn into a Super Saiyan? You must be forgetting things in your old age, Gramps. You told me you're the one who taught Dad everything he knows. Are you lying? Bardock, now almost caught out, with an embarrassed face full of blush, then responds, oh yeah, no, of course I wasn't lying, kid. It's just, the gravity on this planet is different to what I'm used to. And I've been dead for a long time, over 30 years. Yeah, I'm just a little rusty with the whole transformation business. I'd appreciate if you'd just give me a little refresher, that's all. Come on, cut me some slack, kid. Goten, now having powered down back to base, just replies, A refresher? That's weird. No one else forgot how to transform. Not even Gohan. And he never trains anymore. Are you sure you're already a Super Saiyan, Grandpa? It's okay if you aren't. Really? But Bardock, being the quick-thinking liar he is, immediately responds, Nonsense! You need to learn to respect your elders, kid. I'm your father's dad. Everything he is just a weaker copy of me. I don't know about Gohan, but my Super Saiyan transformation was so powerful that, it's harder to transform into. That's all. A little training, and I'll be there in no time. Just pretend you're trying to make me become a Super Saiyan for the first time. Goten, oblivious to any of the lies however, just continues smiling excitedly and responds, "Oh, okay Grandpa. Sure, no problem. Then when you become a Super Saiyan again, we can spar some more, right?" Which Bardock just reluctantly then nods back to. Goten then continues, now pointing ahead. "Hey, let's head over there. I know a perfect spot for training. It's where me and Gohan used to train for the World Martial Arts Tournament." Bardock, who is now confused at the mention of a tournament, then just looks back with a smile saying, "Sure, whatever you want. Lead the way, kid. Just make sure you know what you're doing, alright? I haven't come out here to waste time." "No problem, Grandpa. You'll be a Super Saiyan again in no time." So, with that, the pair then fly off in the direction of a familiar set of mountains. Meanwhile, back at the home of Goku and Chi-Chi, the rest of the family continue to bond with each other, and we rejoin Raditz and Gohan, who after their earlier family spat, now both look at Gohan's phone together, where we see an image of baby Pan and Videl. Gohan explains, "Uncle Raditz, have a look at this. Here's my wife Videl. I met her at high school, and together not too long ago, we had our first child, Pan. She's a real handful, haha. But that'll probably be the Saiyan genes in her, I guess." Raditz looks at the picture of Pan with a smile and says, "I see. She looks just like Mother. She has the same eyes. Our Saiyan genes truly stick on through the generations, I see. And your wife looks like a fine woman, Gohan. Hey, I don't know of this high school you speak of, but now I'm alive, I should settle down like Kakarot has. Hopefully, you can take me to this place where you met your wife, so I too can find my own Earth bride, What do you say?" Gohan, realizing the inappropriateness of what Raditz just said, looks back awkwardly however, realizing what Uncle Raditz is unknowingly implying, and replies, Uncle Raditz, I don't think you should be hanging around high schools at your age. At least that's not what we do down on Earth. Give me a few days and I'm sure I'll find somewhere more suited to you, don't worry." And with a puzzled and oblivious look, Raditz looks back and replies, Sure, if you say so, Gohan." Following this, Gohan then suddenly feels a soft tap on his back. He turns around to see who it is, and there standing behind him is none other than his grandmother Gine, with a warm smile who begins saying, "Hey there, we haven't met yet, so you're my other grandson. Gohan, was it? You made quite the entrance there, almost killing my little Raditz. Don't worry, I'm sure he would have deserved it. He was always a bit of a handful. My name is Gine. I'm your grandmother, and I was revived by Kakarot earlier today along with your grandfather Bardock. That old man who looks just like your dad." Gohan, with a little blush on his face from the shock of seeing his grandmother for the first time and taking all this information in, thinks in his head, "Wow, so this is my grandmother. She's so pretty. She looks younger than Mum. Dad never really mentioned his parents while I was growing up, but I guess I never asked. Master Roshi and the Ox King were as much as I ever got when it came to grandparents. To think, this is my grandmother." Before then saying, "Sorry about that, Me and Uncle Raditz have a bit of a complex history. I had no idea Dad was going to do that. I can't believe he never mentioned you before. But it's so nice to meet you finally, Grandma. Before then attempting to outstretch his hand for a handshake. As he does this though, he is met with Gine looking down puzzled at Gohan's overly courteous greeting. Before then instantly grabbing Gohan for a big hug, yelling, "Oh you, I'm your family! A handshake is far too formal for your old gran. I can tell Kakarot and Chi-Chi raised you well. You're so big and strong, and you look so much like my older brother." Gohan understandably has his interest piqued on hearing this, and steps back from Gine and asks, "Wait, your brother? So I have a great uncle too? Wow, I never realized I had so many family members. This is actually really interesting." For the longest time, it's just been me, Mum, Dad and Goten. If you don't mind, could you tell me more about him? To which Gine, now happy that her grandson wants to know more about his Saiyan heritage, then says, "Of course, Gohan. I know if he was still here, he'd have loved to have spoken to you. His name was Garland, and he was so smart. Bardock used to always be jealous." But one thing first, let's go into the kitchen and I'll tell you more about him over some food. I'm starting to get hungry again. With Gohan just thinking to himself in his head, so this is where Dad got his appetite from. And following this, the two then walk back together into the kitchen, with Gine's hand on the back of her grandson, pushing him excitedly. Meanwhile, now sitting down, Raditz is still holding the phone of Gohan, and after seeing his mother and nephew leave, continues to look deeply again at the picture of Videl and Pan, beginning to say, "Pan, the daughter of Gohan, the granddaughter of Kakarot, a Saiyan mixed with human DNA. Even my own nephew has started an entire family and spawned a new generation of his father's bloodline. Meanwhile, decades later, and there isn't anyone to carry on my name and story. At least not that mother and father know about yet." For a moment, Raditz stares again at his phone, this time in silence, thinking and remembering a certain someone from the past. Before he then looks into the sky as if in deep thought, and then continues, "I don't know what the right thing to do is. To see her again after all these years, or to leave her alone to get on with her life. She's not heard a word from me for over 2 decades now. She's probably moved on by now, surely. But inside, I know I still need to see him, at least. I need to see my son." The scene then shifts back to Goten and Bardock, who are in an open field. Bardock, who seems unimpressed with his arms folded, looks around and questions Goten. "This is where you and your brother trained? Doesn't seem very special. Hardly the place to unlock a legendary form. Anyway, so how do I become a Super Saiyan? Don't forget, that's why I came here, kid. Not to be a replacement Gohan for you." Goten, however, with a smile, then immediately begins picking up rocks from the ground, stuffing them comedically into his gi, before replying excitedly, "Well, when me and Gohan used to train, we first used to collect all the little rocks over here. We have a fun game we play where we need to dodge all the rocks and whoever lasts the longest wins. Gohan said it builds reactions or something, but I just think it's really fun. We got way stronger after playing this every day." Bardock, with an unimpressed look on his face, just responds, "A game? This is how you expect me to ascend? Whatever, you're the boss, I guess. At the very least, this will warm me up a bit. I'm used to dodging the speeding bullets and energy beams of soldiers all throughout the galaxy. So this will be child's play. Literally. Okay, Goten. Give it your best shot. I may not be a Super Saiyan, but I've still got my speed. 1 rock, 2 rocks, or 3. Hell, throw the whole bag at me at once, and I'll show you what a real Saiyan can do. And Goten, still with that massive smile, then lifts his giant pile of rocks from the base and transitions into position, getting ready to throw before replying. Grandpa. Gohan said the same too, but we'll see. Get ready now. Here I come in 3, 2, 1, go! Instantly, Goten then rapidly throws multiple rocks like a machine, each one traveling at insane speeds, breaking the sound barrier, aimed perfectly right towards Bardock. Bardock's face is completely shocked as he realizes just how fast the rocks are coming, and how abundant in quantity, yelling out, Wait a minute! One at a time, kiddo! Immediately, rocks crash all around Bardock, creating small but alarmingly deep craters, which Bardock notices instantly and reacts with a face of true fear for his life as he remarks, Is this kid for real? If I get hit by one of those, I could be back in hell before I know it! How strong have you made Goten in this story, Arj? But before Bardock can say any more, he realizes point blank just how close the next few rocks are to him, having traveled again at supersonic speeds. He quickly thinks to himself, No! There's too many of them! I won't be able to dodge in time! And so he tries his best to dodge them, but it's a pointless effort, as 3 rocks manage to hit him to devastating results. Skidding across the floor in an attempt to get out of the way of the other rocks, Bardock is left damaged, far more than what was expected from a simple game. He comments, "Grr, that hurts like hell! I feel like he's throwing swords. Let me have a look at the damage. I'm bleeding!" Suddenly, Bardock looks down and takes notice of just how severe his injuries are. His face is completely stunned as he notes, "This is ridiculous! He's throwing with such force, even these rocks from this weak planet are damaging. This is beyond the power of a Saiyan. These half-breeds are truly insane!" Eventually, however, Bardock notices that things are strangely quiet. Too quiet. Bardock looks up to try and find Goten, but finds nothing. He's momentarily alarmed as Goten has seemingly disappeared, saying, "Huh? Where did that brat go now? This is dangerous. If he throws from a blind spot, we may actually be done for." But soon enough, a voice from right behind Bardock then says, "I'm right here, Grandpa. Ready for round 2? Alarming Bardock in the process. A wave of fear rushes over him as he mutters, No, not again! I can't dodge him at this distance. I need to create some space. I'm out of here!" Immediately causing Bardock to fly off at top speed, as Goten continues to throw devastating mini bombs at Bardock, missing him just barely each time. The assault continues as Bardock flies around, just trying to avoid being hit as if his life depends on it, while Goten, obliviously, just carries on throwing his seemingly never-ending stash of rocks without a care in the world. Ooh, almost got you there, Grandpa. This is so much fun. This kid, this isn't a game anymore! From one end of the field to the other, Bardock flies, increasingly getting angrier and angrier, while Goten continues with an unlimited supply of energy, almost like a crazed android. Eventually, Bardock, using his speed and maneuverability, loses Goten briefly, finding a small cave to hide in. He walks inside and immediately slams the wall, saying, "Looks like I got away. I'll be safe in here for a bit while I figure out what I can do. Damn it, this is embarrassing. Kakarot and the rest of the Saiyans on this planet are complete monsters. I just need to find a way to predict the movements of his throws. Let me think." But again, before Bardock can even begin formulating a plan, at the entrance of the cave stands the cheekily smiling Goten, who yells, "Oh, so there you are, Grandpa. Not sure why you came in here. There's barely any room to dodge. I thought you said you were trying to make some space." "Oh, don't tell me. You're planning on using that Ultra Instinct thing you taught Dad, right? I can't wait." Bardock, however, with a fear-stricken face, paralyzed and confused at the sight of Goten so quickly, just thinks, "Ultra what now? I don't know what he's blabbing about, but he's right. I'm such an idiot. I've ended up putting myself in the worst possible position. A dead end in a tight cave. This is it. This is really it. I'm going to die by rocks at the hands of my little grandson. The Saiyans back in hell can never hear about this. I'll just have to lie and say Frieza took me out again." Meanwhile, Goten, who is now bored of waiting, prepares his rocks once more and readies his position. "Here comes. Let's see you dodge these." Immediately then barraging Bardock like never before, but this time with nowhere to hide. All that Bardock can do in response is guard with everything he has, being damaged with every hit. Just as expected. Eventually, Bardock, while covering himself, closes his eyes to control the pain, but can't help the hit to his Saiyan pride as he thinks to himself, "This is too much. I can't take this much longer. I can't let it end like this. I can't be the weakest in this damn family. I am Bardock, the combat leader." And on saying this, Bardock's eyes then suddenly open wide, still inside his covering arms, but this time colored a strange but familiar shade of green. Without warning and with a ferocious roar, Bardock yells out as his black hair spikes up and an aura blasts from him that instantly destroys all of the incoming rocks. The increase in power and aura proves so great that even Goten is pushed back as he too is taken by surprise. "Whoa! Grandpa?" With his hair now even more spiked up and shifting in color now from black to blonde, Bardock's pupils disappear as he undergoes an intense transformation. A transformation so powerful, soon the entire cave blows up from being unable to contain the amount of ki Bardock now emanates. But left behind in the debris and rubble, finally, Super Saiyan Bardock is born, who can just about barely control his newfound power. "I am Bardock, the legendary Super Saiyan!" Meanwhile, on the ground, Goten, who has been left floored, just looks on at his grandfather in awe, with this actually being the first time he'd seen such a dramatic Super Saiyan transformation. He mutters, "Grandpa? Is that you? Are you okay?" With a cold and instant look, Bardock shifts his gaze at Goten with his green eyes and replies, "Who else would it be, kid?" Which immediately then puts the young Goten at ease as he yells in excitement, "Oh wow, Grandpa! it is you! You look awesome! I knew you'd remember how to do it. It's been a while since I saw what a Super Saiyan looks like from the outside. You look so much like Dad! Bardock, on hearing this, then looks at a nearby body of water and sees his own reflection. He too is left momentarily shocked as he thinks, huh? The brat wasn't kidding! This is just like when Kakarot transformed. I wonder if I've got the same level of power though. And with a new sense of confidence, Bardock begins to smile as he continues. Haha! Well, it looks like your training worked out perfectly in the end, kid. I gotta tell you, you sure have an arm on you. I feel incredible. So this is how it feels to be a Super Saiyan. Wait, I mean, so this is how it feels on Earth to be a Super Saiyan. Slightly different, you know, gravity and stuff like that. But hey, Goten, you know, with all this power, I think I need a way of testing it and breaking myself in. For once, this might be a fair fight now. Ready for the real sparring to begin? Immediately then powering up and getting into fighting stance, to which Goten then reciprocates. I was thinking the same. You got it, Gramps. We'll call this round 2. Super Saiyan or not, I'm not losing. But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far in the video, leave me a hashtag Son of Raditz in the comments down below. And let me know if you want a part 6 of this story ASAP or want VE part 13. As you know, all these stories are written, illustrated and narrated painstakingly by myself, and if you want to support my work you can do so for just $3 a month on my Patreon, where for less than a cup of coffee you not only ensure that these stories continue, but also get rewarded 250 plus mangas to read yourself instantly and add to your collection. Links will be in the pinned comment and description, but if you want to see more of my signature style of content, just click on one of these 2 videos on the right now. Until next video, guys, cheers.